Hi, welcome to Loft Data 1, my name is Diego. Since Sundance is going on right now, I wanted to talk about the first film that I saw at last year's festival, Deadlover. It premiered on January 24th, and the distribution rights were picked up by Cartuna and Dweck. Written and directed by Grace Glowicki, it's an experimental, horny parody of Frankenstein. Honestly, this movie isn't really my cup of tea, but there were a lot of things I liked about it. FYI, this review will not contain spoilers. Right out of the gate, Deadlover tells you it's not going to play by the rules. It's a genre blend. Part horror, part romance, part slapstick comedy, and it leans hard into surrealism. This entire film unfolds like a fever dream stage play wrapped in cartoon logic. What I loved is that it doesn't really tell you how to feel. It just exists in its own strange world and it dares you to meet it on its terms. It's absurd and grotesque, but also sweet and sad in moments. Somehow, all of that works together without feeling disjointed. And yes, it's very funny. Think Monty Python meets Frankenstein by way of an underground black box theater, but make it queer, punk, and proudly weird. The story follows a lonely gravedigger whose profession has left her smelling like death, literally, and hopeless about finding love. That changes when she meets the poet at his sister's funeral. Instead of being repulsed by her odor, he finds it irresistible, and boom, we have romance. The plot is insanely fun and fully committed to its absurd premise. It's funny in ways very few films dare to be, and the comedic timing is relentless. Without getting too heavily into plot specifics, Deadlover explores themes of longing, identity, desire, and transformation. It's about characters who feel invisible or unlovable and what happens when someone finally sees them, for better or worse. So, underneath all of that ridiculousness, there is a genuine emotional core. This film plays the line between beauty and grotesqueness, love and decay, art and impulse. The tone is unapologetically offbeat. It's dry, raunchy, always strange, and strangely heartfelt. A big part of why this movie works is because of the performances. The cast is small, only 4 actors, but they're all doing double or triple duty. They jump between characters with wild costumes, mustaches, wigs, and accents, and it gives the whole thing a fun, energetic chaos. It feels like a live show where every actor is having the time of their life. Grace Glowicki is phenomenal in the lead role. Her performance is a masterclass in physical comedy. She's expressive, awkward, and deeply human beneath all the weirdness. She fully commits to the absurdity of the role with a wink at the camera sort of energy. Ben Petrie and Leah Dose are equally great, each embodying multiple characters with a playfulness that's super fun to watch. There's an opera singer, some nuns, and a poet. The range on display is hilarious and impressive. And honestly, that commitment is part of what makes the humor land so well. It's never smug. The actors are all in and it makes you want to go along for the ride. The cinematography and visuals are where Deadlover gets even more interesting. The film was shot on 16mm film, giving it this grainy vintage texture that feels tactile, like something between a Lost underground movie and a live stage performance. Almost the entire movie takes place on a minimalist black soundstage, which heightens the theatrical feel. Sets are deliberately simple, backgrounds are sparse, props are exaggerated, and it doesn't feel like a traditional film set, but rather performance art caught on camera. The lighting design is also great. It leans into bold colors, shadows, and fog, and it creates these striking visual moments despite the simplicity of the space. This is what gives the film a surreal, sometimes dreamlike atmosphere. Deadlover was made on a micro budget, but it turns that into a strength. Everything on screen feels handcrafted, from the costumes to the props to the use of space. This stripped-down design gives the actors room to shine and allows viewers to focus on what really matters: performances, the ideas, and the sound. What's wild is that nothing about this low budget feels like a compromise. The limited resources enhanced the creative risks. Now let me rave about the sound design, because Deadlover is one of those films where the sound design is half of the movie experience. From exaggerated squelching effects to bodily sounds and environmental tones, the audio is playful, gross, rhythmic, and always purposeful. It adds a punch to the humor and helps build the film's unique texture. The music is a perfect match. It gives the film a lo-fi indie pop energy that cuts through the grime and adds to the emotional flair. In the screening I attended, 2 different audience members mentioned the sound design during the Q&A. I don't think it did, but I want to be honest, my screening experience may have given me rose-tinted glasses while reviewing this movie. Director Grace Glowicki, actors Ben Petrie and Leah Dose, plus their production designer, Becca Morin, were there. If you ask questions about the movie, you got a pretty nifty little beanie. The cast shared that this movie was created from an improvisational spirit, and that energy is certainly in this film. There was a script, but a lot of this film was developed by riffing and experimenting on set. For example, the cast didn't even use a monitor on set. Only the cinematographer knew what was actually being filmed. That gave the performers a kind of unfiltered freedom to act their hearts out, and you can feel that in the final product. It's messy in the best way, like watching theater kids with a real vision take over a soundstage and make something bold and bizarre with total sincerity. Dead Lover isn't a film for everyone, but it's absolutely a film for someone. If you like movies like Lisa Frankenstein or Warm Bodies, then that someone might be you. Dead Lover is weird, gross, poetic, and completely unhinged, but also thoughtful and beautifully crafted in its own rough around the edges way. Even though it's not my cup of tea, I really appreciated its originality, creativity, and commitment to chaos. Watching it with a festival crowd made it even better, and hearing from the cast and the crew reminded me of how much passion and vision can go into such a small personal project like this. If you're open to something experimental, proudly messy, and unlike anything else from last year, Dead Lover is worth keeping an eye out for when it finally gets a wider release. Thank you for listening to my review of Dead Lover. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the video, thank you for sticking around. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.